Alright, hello everyone. Today I'm going to be doing a video on Apex once again. Today's video is going to be all about Valkyrie. Now the ALGS has just happened, and if you guys don't know, Valkyrie wasn't played in a single game at ALGS, but not only just that, she is the least picked character for ranked as well. Now that's a pretty big fall from grace in a way, because she used to be one of the most picked characters in ranked and ALGS as well, when she got released, and a few seasons after release until she got a big nerf and the whole class rework happened and she got put into Skirmisher. Now, there are actually rumours and leaks potentially that Valk will be going towards the Recon class. Now, if you ask me, she doesn't really feel like a Recon. I know she does have Recon abilities with primarily just the ultimate when you are able to see people when they're skydiving down. And also at the very start of the game, or using jump towers, you can also see people when skydiving. So that is quite helpful. But to make it a Recon character when most of her abilities are Skirmisher related, kinda doesn't make sense. So that's why we are going to do this video right here to kind of conceptualize and kind of talk about how Valk could be a Recon if they decide to do it. Now, if they did do this as well, that would make it so that there is one less Skirmisher character, which currently there's 7, and that's quite a lot for one class. And there'll be one more Recon, so there'll be 5 Recon characters. Now, in that regard, I do actually agree with this change, because that'll mean that a lot of the classes are very balanced in how many legends are in each class, with there being 6 characters in Skirmisher and Support, 5 in Assault and Recon, and 4 in Controller, rather than having just a massive Skirmisher class and very small Recon and Controller classes. So first of all, obviously Valkyrie moving towards the Recon class, she gets better perks. She can first of all, obviously, threat detect. So she can actually see enemies, like outlines and stuff like that with the new threat detection perk. And she can also access survey beacons. So that's all good and everything. That can be probably just enough to like push her into that like kind of unique spot in the LGS and ranked, where she's not only a Recon character but can also traverse your team around the map. So that's great, absolutely amazing. That could be enough, because obviously ever since evac towers got added, her ultimate was pretty useless. But if you have a free evac tower, you don't have to go looting as much at the start of the game. That's a pretty big benefit, as well as obviously the survey beacons. But if that is not enough, there's some additional changes that I think could push Valkyrie into the Recon class even more. The first one being a actual introduction of the little triangles that you have when you scan enemies with your ultimate or when skydiving, if that was also added when you are using your jetpack. So when you use your jetpack, if there's enemies in front of you, you will basically just scan them, the same thing as if you were to be using your ultimate or if you're skydiving. As long as you are a higher elevation from your enemies, you will scan them. Now obviously you can't use your weapon when you use your jetpack, so you only really scan them for your teammates to get that information. And obviously for yourself as well, to know where they are before you push in. This will make Valkyrie a lot more of an intel legend and actually gaining info around the squad and getting off angles to like see where they are. You're essentially your own crypto drone in a way, where you just get that off angle, you see all the enemies, your teammates know where the enemies are, and then you fly back to then shoot them from that position. It'll make Valkyrie a unique character in the actual Recon space. Out of all the changes, this one is absolutely a must pick. Like, if they are going to move Valkyrie into the Recon class, this absolutely needs to happen, because otherwise she's just not a Recon character. She's just a Skirmisher character with just the Recon icon on her. So I really think this needs to happen, just so that she has that Recon flair. She actually gets a lot of intel in the fight and when rotating as well. And I'm not against having like crossovers between the classes, like having like, you know, a Skirmisher ability on a Recon character. I'm not against that, but the main premise of the character needs to be that Recon role, which is, if this edition does go ahead, that's what Valkyrie's role would turn into, getting that intel and then pushing into the fight afterwards. Now, there's some other changes that I do think should happen, but in order to add these, 2 of the perks that are currently in the game need to be embedded. So there's 2 perks in the game called Afterburners and also Aerial Expert. Now, if you ask me, the Afterburner one, in a way, it only really makes it so the Skyward Dive is more of a skirmisher ability and a rotating ability. I think they could rework the Skyward Dive a little bit to be less of a rotational ability and more of a like kind of get out dodge ability. Personally, that's what I think they could do. So if you ask me, I wouldn't really embed the Afterburners perk, but I would embed the Aerial Expert perk where you're able to control your jetpack more easily. So that one will get embedded, the Afterburners will get discarded. And with these 2 perks gone now, one of the perks that I would add is a UAV. So you would basically improve the survey beacon to then scan the whole map. So if you don't remember, guys, but this season they changed the survey beacon where instead it would be like a constantly refreshing survey beacon where you can see the positions of the map update, but it only lasts for 15 seconds and it's only a small area of the map. This would change the range. So Valkyrie would scan a survey beacon and it would scan the whole map, and you would have updating positions on the whole map as well. That'll be pretty game-changing, honestly, because you not only do you have access to survey beacons, but you have access to survey beacons that work on the whole map. That'll be incredible. Now, of course, they could add that perk to any future Recon Legend or any previous Recon Legends, but I think some characters should have that to just have like an edge over other Recon characters, just in that regard. And as for the other perk, I think we could do a similar thing to Octane, where she gets her level 3 perk, the 25% VTOL Jets Fuel, as a level 2 perk as well. So you can essentially have plus 25 and then another plus 25 if you just want loads and loads and loads of fuel. So you can essentially have 150% fuel overall. I think that would be a good change. So you can essentially choose whether you want to go and have buffed survey beacons, which would probably be really good for ranked, or if you just want to have a lot of fuel so that you can move around the map very quickly, move around buildings very quickly, and have a lot of the fuel to do so. So more of a like assault-based playstyle, more for casuals. But overall, if we're going to pinpoint one thing that would make Valkyrie into the Recon class, without really having to buffer and do all these different perk changes and stuff like that I've been talking about, the biggest thing really is to make it so that passive, them jets, when you're flying in the air and you're above the enemy, it just scans them. If that is a thing that can happen, 100% Valkyrie will be put into the Recon class, and I think everyone will accept that. But if they just put her in the Recon class without doing this change specifically, or any other changes that might put her into the Recon class, people are just going to think that she's a skirmisher character that can just access survey beacons. It's a bit weird. And that's like specifically, I call back to Vantage's rework this season. Vantage, I would say, wasn't really much of a Recon. I don't think many people really thought she was. She was just a character that could wield a sniper. There was no real actual Recon that she could do. But ever since they added that ping system, where if you ping someone over 100 meters away and you scan them for 15 seconds or 10 seconds or something like that, that right there is a great Recon ability. That is just fully embedded into her kit. That is a great change, and that's made her a Recon character. Just that alone. There was obviously some other changes as well that actually added more Recon flair to Vantage as well, which I really hope they do with Valkyrie if they do decide to put her into the Recon class, because I would say all the Recon characters, currently all 4 of them, are Recon characters. They actually fit the role now. And if they add Valkyrie without doing any changes, they're going to have to change her again to make her more of a Recon character in the future. So hopefully they'll do it right. But yeah, I would like to hear what you guys think about all this. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.